Peace out to the tribe. You guys know the drill wherever you guys might be in the world. Top of the day. Good afternoon and good evening. I'm your brother Samal here at the Artist Journal. And today we literally just wanted to get on and let you guys know that we are still around. We are here in Kenya. As you guys know, we could not make it out to the Americas, and that's cool with us. We are just putting our foot to the metal, putting our foot to the gas over here in Kenya. As you guys see in a couple of our previous videos that we have some land that we are looking to build out on. We have partnered up with some beautiful sisters, and we are looking to create a beautiful space that you guys can actually come visit, hang out, and just vibe, man. I wanted to come on today and just talk a little bit about appreciation. Appreciation for the mindset that we have on this journey here in Kenya. The accomplishments thus far that we have created here in Kenya. As you guys know, if you don't know, we have an art space, an art workshop called the Art Shop Artisans. Is four of us that in our respective fields, we are pushing out artwork on a daily basis. We absolutely ship to the UK, we ship to America and South America. You know, wherever you guys at, we'll ship it to you. We do realism paintings, portraits, environments, and of course pets. Whatever you guys need, we are here to accommodate you when it comes to the art world channel. You understand? So building out the art space, being able to create at the level that we create, we are very thankful for that. Just this space that we hold for each other at the shop, myself, J Cafe, brother Kraina, brother Steve, it's just a reciprocal kind of thing that we have fostered and created down at Art Shop Artisans. And family, all of this is under a year. We only been here, babe, babe. We had flew into the country, I want to say March 5th of last year. March 5th of last year, so that would make a little over a year. You know, so we done been to art shows. We are looking to get in an art show in May called the Affordable Art Show in Kenya National Museum at the end of May. So all of us are looking to get our work in there. J Cafe has already have her work in a beautiful gallery called Almasi, which they'll be showcasing her work, I want to say next week. You know, so tune into Almasi, Almasi, Almasi Gallery, and you will see J Cafe's glasswork on wooden panels down at Almasi Gallery. So all of these things, family, we have been able to jab away at and acquire in under a year's time. And it's kind of interesting because when we first got here, we said we ain't gonna really jump at nothing. We're gonna chill. But you know how that is. Coming to a new country, everything is fresh, everything is new. The smells is new, the people smiles, and you get in this euphoric kind of space where you just want to jump on everything, you know. And we had to reel ourselves back in and kind of pole, take it slow, you know. So that's the season we're in now, kind of pulling back from things and taking things slow, but at the same time, being our creative selves. You know, like I told you, we are embarking upon a very healing kind of space. Um, we are working with the sisters, and soon to come, they'll definitely come on the Artist Journal so they can showcase some of what they do. You know, and you guys can be able to interact with them on a live stream. Beautiful sisters. So we have about 5 acres of land, 5.5 to be exact. There's already a farm there. There's already a gazebo, a water source, and an array of fruits and veggies already on the land. So again, family, the networking, how we move around, it's full of creatives. My good friends, John and Talu, kind of showing us the ropes. Shout out to them. I can't wait till they launch their new coffee line, and you will see commercials as they roll out. They have the good dark roast and medium roast. So stay tuned for that. I want to say shout out to John and Talu, my man Tim, of course Kaya, Nicole, everyone that helped us on our journey, Queen Takia, um, and many others, many others. So I just want to say that we are very and extremely appreciative. And my good brother that showed us the ropes when it comes to the sea moss industry. That's right, family. We are embarked, have already embarked on the sea moss journey. We have already shipped 60 pounds out to Chicago. We sent 40 pounds to DC. And if you didn't know, we have sea moss always on deck. This right here is about 5 kg, about 10 pounds, 10 to 12 pounds of purple and gold sea moss. We have it in, I want to say we have access to several tons. So if you guys are looking for some sea moss, East African sea moss, feel free to hit us up. Drop me a DM or drop me an email. All of our contact information is in the description. And again, this is how we doing it, family. So again, my man, my good brother Victor, our sea moss farm is literally 30 minutes right down the street on the coast. They farm the sea moss on the East African Ocean. About 20 to 30, I want to say closer to 30 women actually harvest the sea moss year round, family, year round. So they produce a lot of sea moss in the course of a year. So we can accommodate anywhere from 50 to 100 and even a ton of sea moss. All you got to do is give us the word, and we can ship out a sample so you can see the quality, and we go from there. So all of these relationships, family, that we are fostering, all of the experiences thus far that we have undergone, have been through here in Kenya, have been nothing short of a blessing. And though we only been here a year, there's the good always, right? But there's the bad and the ugly, the good, bad, and the ugly, right? So there are also some things that kind of raised our eyebrows as to how things are done here. Certain mentalities that you see that you cannot turn a blind eye to. Um, and I must say, you have to be on the ground to really engage it and see it for what it is. You know, um, it's interesting because I was watching a woman who lived here in Kenya, and she likened it unto a relationship, and she ended up leaving because she said, like a relationship, you get to a point where you don't want to hate the person, right? So it was some things that she saw in the country. So instead of developing negative feelings about certain things that's done in the country, she just left. So if you know anything about relationships, right, then you're gonna see the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't care where it is that you go or navigate or move to in the world. I don't care what relationship that you find yourself in. You're gonna see some things. You're gonna see some things, some red flags, some, you know, eye raisers, you know. But in order to really, you have to have a level of commitment. Let me say that to see a thing through, right? You cannot be one who jump monkey branch from situation to situation, from country to country. At what point do you maintain your stillness, right? Because we all know that happiness comes from within. No matter where we might find ourselves in this world, this upside down world, right? That you always have to go within, you know. So though we saw and continue to see some things about how things are done in certain mentalities here, you got to push through it. You know, one of my brothers that's here, he got hemmed up at the ferry with some police, and long story short, his license expired. You know, so they try to take advantage of that. They wanted to get 50,000 shillings out of him. That's about 50,000 shillings. It's about $400. And he going back and forth and going back and forth. And so he calls a friend of his that's in the government. And the police actually told the government official, I don't care if he's Kenyan, I don't care if he's a foreigner, we want the money. You know. So there's an element of that here. And I've experienced that in other parts of the world also. So it's just not an isolated Kenyan things, but the reality is that wherever you find yourself, you're gonna have some ignorant people, you know. So those are and can be some of the challenges here, you know. And again, it's not everyone, you know. For the time that we've been here over a year now, I've never experienced that from any law enforcement, me personally. Now, when I was in Tanzania, it was a whole nother ball game. It was a whole nother ball game. I experienced that to the nth degree, you know, to the, I want to say close to $1,200, you know, holding on to my passport for 3 months, you know, that kind of thing. you know. So you do have some ugly things that transpire, but you have to learn how to navigate. You have to know how to move through um, those type of scenarios. But on the flip side of that, the beautiful people that's here, you know, the beautiful experiences that you have here, people that really mean you well and that are genuine, you know, it's like gold. It's like finding literal gold. People that is here to assist you and to help walk you through certain things. Um, those people you must keep close to you, you know, because they're like it unto family. You know, they have your best interests at heart and they'll help you. They see certain things more than you because they are local, they from here and they understand, you know what I'm saying? So Kenya have been extremely a blessing. I feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity to come, and I'm looking forward to what we are manifesting in the future because that's all it is, family. Manifesting. It seems like everything that we put out there, it manifests, family. It just happens. I mean, everything. Huh. Somebody text me, word on the street that you are back in DC. Nah, not quite. I'm right here. As you guys can see, DC don't have palm trees like that in the background. You understand? It's a far, it's a far away from DC, our family. So, family, yeah, Kenya is blessed, been treating us good, and we've been sucking it up. Um, we are looking at a group coming in. Man, I forget this organization name out of DC, but it's a big group coming in November, and there's we're looking to have. Well, I'll inform you guys on that as we get closer. You understand? So if you all are looking to come to Kenya, feel free to reach out to myself. You can email me, and we could put a tour together for you here in Mombasa, here in Diani, and even if you're flying into Nairobi, we can accommodate you in Nairobi as well. We have people in Nairobi that been here well over 10 years and they know the lay of the land. And they are also established. They have a vegan restaurant, they have schools, and they also have a lot of agricultural projects. So feel free, family, free yourself up. You know, in this day and time where folks are literally at each other from a governmental standpoint, political standpoint, it is always a breath of fresh air to get out of that environment and just invest in yourself. You know, come to Africa, come to Kenya, jump in the Indian Ocean. You understand? Put your feet in the soil, eat some good food. We got jackfruit here, we got mangoes here, we got soursop here, we got sugar apple, pineapples, a variation of mangoes. We got tamarind, star fruit, jackfruit, like I said, Yo, there's not a fruit that you can name that Kenya doesn't have. It's the number 2 or number 3 largest tea manufacturer in the world. So you have an array of teas here. You have the spice, one of the spice capitals of the world, right here in Mombasa, 40-minute drive from where I'm at. Um, so family, treat yourself. Treat yourself. You know what I mean? If you need a beautiful painting, like I said earlier, feel free to hit us up. This is what we do. This is what we do, family. So we are gearing up again for the Affordable Art Show coming in May, the end of May, I think the 22nd through the 25th. So guys, look that up. It's called the Affordable Art Show, Nairobi, Kenya. Okay, we are approaching just past 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Yeah, J Cafe is gonna be lovely. I think I got a strong feeling all of us gonna get in. So the process of getting in, family, you have to apply. And in applying, you give them your social media and you send a picture of one of your paintings. So they'll get back with us at the top of April. And if we're invited, we go all the way to Nairobi the week before the show. And then we showcase or show and present the 2 pieces that we created. I'm 60% finished one of my pieces. I'm not going to really reveal to the family what or the concept of the painting. I want that to be a surprise. If I don't get in, I'll just go ahead and reveal them. But these paintings are going to be fire, family. The framing of it, high professional. Highly professional. So yeah, J Cafe, we are definitely looking forward to the vibes up in Nairobi. And we got to hit up our favorite thrift shop. I know we're not trying to spend no money, but family, they have a thrift store in Westlands. Actually, a block up from Soul Veg, right in between Soul Veg and Nairobi Street Kitchen. I forget the brother's name that owned it. Dark-skinned brother with dreads. Man, I'm telling you, family, he got some nice pieces in there. So looking forward not only to the art show, but we got to go back to that thrift store, to that thrift shop or thrift store. I remember like going to the thrift store about 15, 20 years ago. It was like you had to sneak in there because it was people to laugh at you. Man, you going in there, you getting used stuff, man. Why would you do something like that? But now it's the trend. Everybody's going in thrift stores. Ain't that something? And also, family, we are doing artwork on clothes. T-shirts, jackets. Actually, when we was in Nairobi, we had an artist actually paint one of my paintings on some jackets. And to my surprise, it was fire. And the ironic part is that I did a painting for my brother on a jean jacket right before I moved out of the country, which was fire. So it just reminded me of how far we can take this art thing. You know, we can actually create wearable art. Matter of fact, let me show you this piece, family. Hold on one second. Family, tell me this ain't fire. Tell me this ain't fire, fam. So if you guys need a jean jacket, you understand, with some art on there, and it could be a portrait of your choosing. Now, mind you, we do realism, so we could take your face and actually put it on a canvas or put it on some apparel for you. This is what we do here at the Artist Journal, fam. Tim Ra, hit the link, Tim Ra. Hit the link, brother. The link is up top in the chat, brother. Appreciate the energy, Tim Ra. Appreciate the energy. Hit the link, brother. What's that weather like in DC, Tim Ra? I remember we used to stand out in the cold and have our bills, man. That was fire. That used to be fire. Let me see if that link. Babe, how I put the link in the chat again? I got it. I got it. For anyone who wants to come in for a hot second, feel free. The link is in the chat. Tim Ra.
Like, man, how you doing, man? Can you
Man,
hear me?
everything blessed, my good brother. Can you hear me?
I can hear you good.
Yeah, likewise, man. You still on 14th Street?
Nah, I'm moved, man, but I ain't too far away though. You know what I'm saying? I'm right there. I'm only about 5 minutes away. You see what I'm saying? It's everything's still in motion. Still working on the same project. It's still kicking off.
Yeah, that's the man. What's up, my man Oliver, man?
He doing his thing. You know, everything moving in the, you know how we roll in that spiritual aspect. You get my point? You know, you gotta live day by day, right? You only
For
live in
sure.
one day, man. You can't make it to tomorrow, and you ain't never gonna go back in the past. So I'm gonna say, it seems like everybody is fulfilling what they want to do, even you.
Hey, man, we talked about this for a long time. We talked about
Right,
this for a long time. You know,
right.
initially, it was Gambia, but then we found ourselves in Kenya, you know?
Yeah. But you home. You home. You
Yeah,
halfway to
brother.
heaven.
Yeah, brother. That's the key. And
And you
that's
know
the
what I
goal.
see? Let me tell you something else. Because I ain't talked to
What's
you in a
that, brother?
while, right? But I be watching, right? You got a nice little setup, bro. I ain't gonna lie, man. You done did some real, and I can feel that energy, though. You know, I can feel like that, uh, that raw African, Kemet. You see where I'm going? But I can also see you bringing that. Okay, we ain't no Europeans, but let me tell you how they operate a little bit. You get where I'm going with that situation, sir? You know what I mean? But
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
not. But it's almost like hands-on development. It's like hands-on workforce development. You see where I'm going with that? You know, it's not like
For sure.
yeah, I'm seeing it, bro. I'm seeing what you're doing. So, you know, yeah, keep on moving, man. Keep on. And your art look amazing. I ain't gonna lie.
You ain't know I had it. You ain't know I had it
I
in
ain't
me, huh?
I ain't know it was on that level, Shawty. I was like,
Hey,
yeah, you real modest, man. You know, humble and shit. You know what
yeah,
them books
man.
say you supposed to be?
That's how we move, Tim Rod, man. You know the vibes, man.
Yeah, man. No doubt, no doubt. So, how you living up there, man? How the feeling up there from the religion aspect, man? With the people's holy up there, they more holy, or is it They less holy. What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. From a moral standpoint, you know, he got a large Islamic influence. You know, we in East Africa,
Mm-hmm.
so you got that whole Muslim kind of feel here, but a lot of people are Christians too. You know what I mean? And then you have a lot of spiritual people. Kenyans are very in the know. You know what I'm saying? They got Kilimanjaro here. You have Mount Meru. You have about 42 different tribes. So people are very confident in their cultural practices. You know what I mean? But even they're progressive when it comes to politics in the world stage. You know what I mean? So, yeah, brother.
Now, let me ask you this question: are they more like you know how like when you in America, if you a Christian or Muslim and all that stuff, right? You say it, but you ain't really practicing it, right? You get my point. But when you over there, is it more like, okay, most of these people, 50% of these people actually trying to practice what they saying versus you get where I'm going? You see my
Yeah,
question?
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna say, man, from what I observe, especially when we go to Mombasa, everyone seems like they locked in, and morality, especially amongst the Muslims, is up on a high level. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean? So I respect it. Every time I go to Mombasa, man, just to see the brothers, man, in their fully dressed garb. Most men, you know, they wear their long flowing garb with their kufi on, and I respect how they move. Even the women move in modesty, and that's something I respect. You know.
Right. And I know everybody walking when you walk down the street, you get highs and how you doing and all that. Not like in America when you just walk down the street, ain't nobody saying
Oh,
nothing. They
nah,
looking at you.
nah. If you don't speak, here's something wrong with you.
It's the opposite. Is that what you?
Yeah, people are very very hospitable here for the most part. Now you will see a few people that look at you like cross-eyed or they trying to figure you out. But for the most part, man, people are very friendly here, man.
So let me ask you this then. So mentally, right? Because I ain't over there, and I ain't never been over there. So mentally, right? How does that? How does that make you feel? You know, if you get to walk a whole, you get to walk every day with that kind of feeling versus America. Like, what is that doing for you mentally? You know what I'm saying? That environment. Explain that to
Bro, that's a feeling like none
me.
other. Because one, everywhere you look, turn, you see people that look just like you. You know, and where we come from, you know this from being on 14th Street, like you step out of your house, you know that there's a chance, man. You're gonna get involved in something. You know what I mean? Over here, it's different. You know, you step out of your house knowing that you good. You know what I mean? Is a level of security here that you don't have in the states. You know what I mean? So just the genuine smiles and the environment and you got the ocean right there. You know, it's that kind of vibe, man. I'm not even in
Right.
Nairobi. I'm 10 hours away on the coast. So it's a whole different energy, man.
Yeah. It seems like it's easier to move, to get things accomplished instead of, you know what I'm saying, how it is in America. Is it, when you're
I
trying to
wouldn't
work
say
with
that.
people, or you think, it's
I
different.
wouldn't,
It's
I wouldn't
different.
say that.
What do
People here move slower. And even in government facilities, it might take you a little longer to get certain things done. In the States, it's more, you
yeah,
know, it's more
yeah.
clockwork. Here's a little different. So you got to adjust your pace to how things are done here.
You know what? I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because I've been working on these projects. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that I noticed about Black folks in America, right? We move a little bit slower than what the Europeans and all everybody else is moving. You know how you process. You got to talk it out and this and that and that. You get where I'm going with that situation. So I wonder if that's just how we probably was, right? We ain't had to. The world was ours, so we ain't had to do all that. We perfected.
Yeah,
You see
man.
what
I mean, I agree. I agree, man. One of my teachers once told me, he was like, it takes time to live.
I'm
You know what I mean? Like in America, money is time.
right.
So you spend your every awakened moment trying to chase it, trying to get it. You know what I'm saying? Over here, it's a little different.
You
If I say
live.
Timra, meet me at the beach at 2 o'clock, that means anywhere from 12 to 4 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere in between there.
Right, right, right. That's
You know
living.
what I
You
mean?
live it. Everybody on real
Bro?
time, not artificial time.
Yeah. So it kind of put things in perspective to how life should really move. It shouldn't be
Right,
based on this here. It
right,
should be
right,
based on experiences. You know what I mean?
right.
Like certain indigenous cultures, they mark time by the moons, the moon cycles. You know, I see you, Timra, in 60 moons. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, that type of language. And that's one of the things that we looking to get back into is the soil here. You know, we're in the process now of creating. A lot of people may say it's like an eco village. So we came across about 5.5 acres of land, and we're gonna look to build out some indigenous homes on the land where people like yourself can just come and just chill out for a minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I'm down. I had to send some money up there, maybe invest if you open to that. You see what I'm saying? I've been watching you as you move
Yeah,
along, and I already see where you headed with that the whole situation. You get my point,
for sure.
and I will say this: you do what you say you going to do. I do know that,
For sure, brother.
and you don't even
Hey,
talk about it. You just move, bruh. You just move and
hey,
just take it.
hey, you know what that is, right?
What's that? What's that?
Come on,
Oh,
man.
I
That's sea
can't.
moss, right?
Oh yeah, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. You know, I ain't never had no sea moss before, man. I ain't never had it. I ain't never had it,
You
man.
need something, man? I got you.
You know. But let me ask you this question: Look, since you talk about the soil in Africa, right? All right. You know how America, you know how Europe came to America and damn near tore up everything, man. You know, all these high buildings, cities and stuff. What about Africa? You know, are they starting to develop to the point where it's going to be all everywhere you walk is going to be a sidewalk? You can't walk on the ground. Is that where Africa is going? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna
For as
say,
far as like
I'm gonna say,
development stuff.
I'm gonna say, as far as development, a lot of countries are trying to emulate the West. So in your inner cities, you do have a lot of building structures. You have paved roads, but outside of the city is normal. You know what I mean? Is your bush, is your villages, is your dirt roads, is so you kind of get the best of both worlds. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. See, that's my fear. I don't want Africa in the future to build up like unnatural like America. You see where I'm going with that situation?
Yeah,
Lead pipes. Right.
unfortunately, man, the West got a stronghold on a lot of countries, bro. And one thing you're gonna see here is a lot of people trying to run after and emulate the West. Only people with a certain level of consciousness, they make their way to the village. They make their way to the more rural areas for a level of peace. And you might have politicians that do their thing on the pavement or in the cities and then make their way back out. But it's a man. This Western culture is very strong, bro. I want to say peace up to Agnoth. We do have purple sea moss, we have gold sea moss, and we have green sea moss. We have it all. We have it all, Agnoth. So Tim, to answer your question, man, yeah, man, is You got very few African countries that's trying to hold on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. You know, my family got some land up there in Ghana. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
So as things progress, man, we might try to figure something out. I don't know how far that
Yeah,
is
man.
from me.
That's West Africa. That's on the other side of the continent.
How long that
But
take to get over there?
that was my first African country, bro.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Man, Ghana is like that.
Hmm.
Ghana is like that, man.
Well, you over there, you gonna have to travel and go all, and be all super international Africa, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, you get your little base, and then you gonna spread your wings, man.
Man, that's the goal. That's the goal.
You know, I
You
think
know,
that.
the
See,
queen.
go ahead.
I was saying the queen keep me in check when it
Oh
comes
yeah,
to that, man. That's one of her things that she would love to do is just to travel around, experience the vibes, and yeah, see the world, man. So I'm definitely with it.
but you see where you going the right. I think it's all in that agriculture. That's gonna save it. You get my point. You get back to that soil. You get back to the earth. Right, that's what the whole scriptures talks about, right? You're destroying the planet because of your immoral activities and behaviors. You see where I'm going with that situation? You know, all the holy books are saying, "Look, man, I gave you everything. You ain't had to make no food. I made the food for you." You see where I'm going? You didn't have to. Right?
You
I
know,
mean,
when they say, Timrod say, and this is a comedic thing too, not only a biblical thing. It said, "Seek ye the ancient paths," right? For in
right,
it is life. So in Genesis 1 and 29, it said that we are to consume the herb yielding seed, right?
right,
So any
right,
fruit or vegetable that have seeds in it, that's like God's signature that I
hmm,
put this here for you to consume.
right,
That's
right,
high vibrational, you understand, diet right there. And when you come to places like Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia, these places are rich in alkaline foods. These are
right, right.
electrical, according to Dr. Sabi, these are electrical environments,
Hmm.
and it said that ye are gods, right?
Right.
But because we follow the nations, we will die like men. You understand? So once we tap back into ourselves, again, that's a comedic thing to know thyself. When we really tap in and we are hitting on all cylinders, we'll understand that there's no more borders on the continent. It will become one Africa again. You know how Kwame Nkrumah, Muammar Gaddafi, Fidel Castro, all these gentlemen was pushing this one Africa concept. And that's the biggest threat to the West.
Yeah.
Can
Well,
you imagine?
I agree with you on that 100%. But see, we got the way I see it is the West was uneducated, so it takes a long time to educate a race of people, man, that has actually been so uneducated that they think they not of you. You see where I'm going with that situation? So I believe that we buried that system, and I believe we gave them all holy books. We gave the Muslims a holy book about Hagar, the Egyptian. We gave Abraham a book about coming down into Egypt. You get my point? Even Buddha got a book, right? Because he talks
For
about the
sure.
seven sons. And then you understand my point with that situation? And the
For sure.
Greeks. We gave the Greeks some books, right? We gave them Zeus and all that and everything like that, right? So I'm just saying, like, I think the issue is in Africa right now is that you got an argument between the Muslims and the Christians about what two different books are saying, and in technicality, in the technical aspect, you're supposed to read both books together. You see, because there's two different books. One's going towards Ishmael, and the other book is talking about what's Ishmael's brother's name? Isaac. No,
Isaac.
yeah, right. You get so
Yeah,
it's two
Ishmael and
different,
Isaac.
right? There's two different stories. So, like, say if I want to know if the Bible talking about Satan falling from heaven, I might jump into the Quran and figure out what the argument was between Iblis and Allah. You understand what point?
But Tim, I look at it this way. Because Ishmael and Isaac, right? They had the same father.
Same
And
daddy.
remember it said that Avram or Avraham will be the father of many nations.
Many nations.
So let's go back in time, right? Let's take a little journey. Before there was a thing even called the Quran, or even before there was the so-called Torah, or the inspired words of the prophets, the Bible, or whatever, the Old Testament. Let's put those books on the shelf. How would we be able to relate to each other without these books? That's where we find ourselves back in the Genesis, right? Under the umbrella of truth. It ain't got nothing to do with what people call themselves. For me, I think if we're able to wrestle it out without these books, because it's like, if I'm Muslim or I'm Buddhist or I'm Christian or I'm Muslim, my God is always going to be better than your God. But if we all agree, let's put these on the shelf and let's deal with each other as men, as human beings. How do we get to that common place? Because we got to understand that God is God. Before any book was created, before any man was created, you had this life force, this energy that we all call God or the creator, right? So there must have been a language of communication that men had before these writings.
Okay, I agree with you. So let's break it down real quick, right? Let's break it
Yeah.
down. All right. If all the books were gone, Buddha, the major religions, right? Buddha, the Bible, Torah, and the Quran, they was gone. Then the only thing that would really be left is the Great Pyramids of Giza. You see where I'm going with that system? That whole system, right? So that's going to take you back to an invisible God that's hidden, which we called Amen, and that's going to take you to the sun. And if the sun don't come back tomorrow, there ain't no tomorrow. Ain't no me, you, Jesus, Allah, Yahweh, none of that, right? So, but we buried the system because the Romans and all them and the Greeks was all, you get my point, man, uneducated on the spiritual aspect of what they was earthly people, right? But if I read the Bible, Torah, and the Quran, right, they all telling me that I'm older than Adam, because Adam only 6,000 years old. So if somebody was created in the likeness and image of God, damn it, that's me. I mean, that means I'm pure sunlight made from darkness. I'm an energy creature, a child of the sun. I'm not a human. I'm the hue of the man. Do you see where I'm going? So I would have to agree with the scriptures then. Well, who is this dusty man that got created up here and over here? And why are these people coming from Mount Ararat, knowing them where the boat landed? Because I don't think that's Africa. If the Euphrates rivers is attached to it, the Tigris River, right? There's another river, right? One river went all the way around Ethiopia. So all the holy books to me seem like it's telling you, you're going to turn your sun dark, and they all talk about the sun. They all talk about the sun and the moon. So somebody adulterated it. But if you take all the books and put them together, it's all going to match, because it's telling each nation, or let's say each brand, because if Abraham had Abraham had two kids, right? One by an Egyptian and one by a Hebrew, right? Sarah. So that
Okay.
right there, from a biblical standpoint, shows you the first integration, basically. And it was a problem. It turned into an issue. And what do we have today? We got the Muslims fighting against the daggone Christians. Ishmael fighting against, right? And they got the same daddy. Now show me in the scriptures before that happened that was happening in Egypt, in Africa, and everybody coming down into Africa. Do you see where I'm going with the situation?
I mean, according to the biblical narrative, right? That wasn't the first story. I mean, you had Cain and Abel, right?
Yeah, but they not in
So
Africa.
why you say that? You just said you just said it was rivers that went out, and one of them, which was the Hiddekel. You had the Pishon, the Gihon, which is the white and blue Nile. You had the Hiddekel, which is the Tigris River, and you had the Euphrates.
Yeah,
That
that's up.
wrapped
Yeah, that's
around
up there in
Ethiopia.
the Middle East. That's in the middle. Go get the map. That's up there. That's not in Africa.
Hear what I'm saying to you.
I'm trying to hear it.
From a geographical standpoint, if you look at the map,
I'm
you
about
will
to
find that, pull it up, you would see that Israel, the so-called land, the land of Palestine, the land of Israel, Iran and Iraq, is landlocked to Africa. So according to the biblical narrative, for those that believe in the Bible, you will see that the children of Israel walked from Israel, so-called Palestine, to Egypt. And after years of captivity, they got up.
Hold on.
Ahead.
You're making a mistake because you're too far up in time, right? You got to go all the way back. We're dealing with Adam. Adam was placed at the head of the rivers. You got to remember that from the biblical standpoint, Bible. That's the head of the rivers. And even the Quran says listen. So if he's at the head of the river, we got to find where is the head that 4 rivers come out of. One of those rivers have to compass all. Let me finish it up. Yeah, I'm saying it's up there somewhere coming out of Turkey up there in that kind of area, right? That's where all that stuff. The rivers went all the way up there, somewhere up there, right? You get my point? So that at that point, Adam is not in Africa. He's at the head of the rivers because the 4 rivers came out of Eden and split into 4 heads. And one river and the other river both is the same, right? You know how that little part of Africa, it seemed like it's that little part of one river was where gold, but the same river. It seemed like it's that river where the where that canal, where man-made canal, where is that?
I'm looking at it. You're talking about the Suez Canal.
Yeah.
Now go back to what I was sharing with you, how the children walked from Israel to Kemet. Now, if you look at the map, you would see that this whole landmass where the Pishon and the Gihon and the Hiddekel went, right?
I want to just interject one more time. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not trying to disagree with you. But that you too far in when you say the children of Israel walked, you too far ahead.
No, that's not the point. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is where they walked from.
Okay, let me ask
where
you.
There was already. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Where there was at this whole region here. This whole region is, from an ancient biblical narrative, is northeastern Africa. You understand? It is northeastern Africa.
I understand what you're saying. I just want to break it down to its simplicity, right? If we got to start with the first kid. If you're watching the movie, the first scene in the movie is Adam, right, being put at the head of the rivers, right? So we got to pinpoint that. So the movie's going to come into, you know how you start out in space and it's going to come all the way down and show you right there where that man is. Now, where does the Euphrates rivers actually start at? Where's it start? It's up there in Turkey, right? The Tigris River is up there in Turkey. So we know that the beginning of the scene starts with all that stuff kicking off where them rivers is at, right? One river came out and could pass the whole of Ethiopia. There ain't no river going to pass the whole Ethiopia. That would be all of Africa because Ethiopia meant the birth-faced people. So that means 2 rivers is actually circulating around all burnt-faced people, technically speaking, I believe. I know for sure one going around Ethiopia. But I think the other one also, because Africa, Egypt reigned from Africa all the way up until, what's the other part of, that little part between
The
Europe and
Suez Canal.
yeah, that little part where Arabia, all that is, right? You see what I'm saying? So all that was whatchamacallit. So now from there, now what you're doing is you're telling me how the children of Adam coming from Turkey got into Africa. That's what you're telling me. You see where I'm
No,
going? You're saying,
brother.
okay, wait, hold on, let me finish it out. Let me land. You're telling me, hey,
Go ahead.
Tim Raw.
Go ahead.
You say, hey, Tim Raw, Adam was the head of the rivers. And I don't see anything that you said was wrong, that he was up there in Turkey. But the children of Israel, they did walk down here and get into Africa, because this is how the river flows. I'm with you. You see where I'm going with that situation? But I'm older than Adam. You see my point? I'm not 6,000 years old. Africa is so old that the Europe has made a industry called digging up your bones to find out who you are, to try to figure out how powerful you really is. Because if God made man in His image and His likeness, that gotta be me, and I gotta be a son child, because the scripture says you're supposed to be a child of light. Jesus' face was transfigured into the sun. Allah tells you about this. He says that, I think this, Allah didn't say the sun was the sustainer or something like that, or something that, he talks about the sun. So all these gotta be sun worship books. They all gotta be warnings to the different branches of Noah's children coming from Mount Ararat. And we ain't got to worry about Adam's children, right, coming from Turkey. And why is that? Because God got rid of all of them. You see how serious this story is? And they coming down into your land, where you at. And who owns the pyramids right now? They in Africa, but who own them? Ain't no Africans own that. And that's your Washington DC. They took your DC, shot it.
Hey, ain't that something, man? Hey, shout out to Anthony Browder.
Right. Shout out to Anthony Browder.
Shout out to Anthony Browder. African contributions to the world. Hey, Tom Rob, we going on an hour, brother.
Oh, it's been an hour. Yeah, go on, brother. I'm gone. Yeah, man. I love you, black man. I love you, brother, man.
Yeah. I think you jumped on late. You jumped on a little late. I'm gonna be back on here on Tuesday though.
All right, I love you, brother, man.
Likewise,
keep moving,
my good
man.
brother.
I keep up with you, brother. Love and respect.
Man, for sure. Likewise, love and respect, my good brother.
All right.
Peace out. So family, will be coming up on our time. Again, all of our contact information is in the description. Appreciate you guys taking a little bit time out of your Sunday to hang out with the Artist Journal. Stay tuned. But I'm gonna bounce out here, family. I'm gonna tune out here just to tune back in. And do me a favor, family. Take care of yourself. Peace out.